Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the February 18th, 2025 Board of County Commissioners meeting. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing on our agenda are minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions or corrections?
I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for Tuesday, February 11th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, February 11th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up is planning. And it looks like this being the time set aside for a public hearing for a proposed two-lot minor subdivision. Would you please read the roll?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhagen.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed two-lot minor subdivision in AR 10-34 and AR 3-9 rezoning application submitted by Flame Conley Weinmaster on property located at 27980 Road T, Dolores, Colorado, consisting of 35.85 acres more or less, located south of Road T, west of Highway 145, situated in Section 19, Township 37 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, February 18th, 2025 at 9 a.m. in the Commissioner's Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online service at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this third day of February 2025, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado, published in the Journal on Wednesday, February 5th, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, would you give us an overview, please?
Sure. So Flame is proposing a two-lot minor on her property. Her residence would be on the north 6.5 acres. That's been there for a few decades. Everything's there and existing, and she's splitting off the bottom 29 plus or minus acres. There's an access easement on the west side of her parcel on the Ironwood property. That road runs from T clear down all about to where the 29 is.
Mm-hmm.
It's an access utility easement.
Okay, would you like to add anything?
No.
Okay. I don't have any questions. I mean, I think we're all pretty familiar with the property, and we've all probably, specifically in the last 5 years, driven that road to access the Ironwood property.
I just didn't realize you had an access back through there on that one side.
Actually, it goes a lot further down there. It goes almost to the very bottom. Because there's a pond down at the very end.
Mhm.
And there's a road that goes all the way down there because there was, when Dad had the sawmill, there was a trailer court down there for the employees.
Okay.
So there's a road that goes, and it's on, most of that below where it says the 29 acres right there, it's on my side of the property, the road is. So it kind of switches back and forth between me and Ironwoods.
Okay.
But there's specific access to the,
Yes.
is it still a concrete company that works out of there, or used to
No.
be, or?
I don't really know. I don't know what Ironwood does at the moment.
I'm
They've
not
been
talking
shipping-
about Ironwood, I'm talking the 29.35 acres, the metal building that's depicted in the yellow.
There's a couple of buildings there that, I have a shop there.
Okay,
That's a
Uh-huh.
shop.
I have
yeah,
a
that's,
shop that I
there's still
haven't rented out.
access. Yeah, to,
And
okay,
electricity's there.
okay. All right. Any questions, commissioners, at this
No.
time? All right. Well, then, at this point in time, I'll open this application up to public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address prior to providing your comments, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment of this application and bring it back to the commission. Gentlemen.
I have nothing further.
Is any of that material actually on hers property?
No, we've inspected it myself with our emergency manager. We've used the road to access around to the lower side of the building, but none of the product is on this 29 acres or the 6.5 acres. The road is a delineation between the two, and all of it for Ironwood is to the west.
Hopefully.
Well, I mean, I don't think
So
we've
far,
had
it
enough
stayed there.
winds.
It stayed on their side so
Yeah,
far.
it pretty well did, and now with those in different piles of chips, it seems to be staying set a lot better. Okay, gentlemen?
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
I would so move, we accept a proposed two-lot minor subdivision and AR 10 through 34 and AR 3 through 9 rezoning applications submitted by Flame Conley Weinmaster on property located at 27980 Road T, Dolores.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed two-lot minor subdivision and AR 10 through 34 and AR 3 through 9 rezoning application submitted by Flame Conley Weinmaster on property located at 27980 Road T, Dolores, Colorado. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you have been approved, ma'am. Thank you. Yeah. And I'll close this public hearing.
Did you get her check?
All right.
Time to sign.
Go run her down. Oh, that's just plats, right? Nothing else. We have, some plats that need signed. One for the Jones single lot development and the, Derek's amendment of the Adair Estates. That one was previously signed, but there was a typo, that occurred several places, so it's best that we just re-record that, with that correction, so that's why you're seeing it again.
Okay.
And then Carver, Colorado Haymakers on their single lot development.
Okay.
All right, roll them out.
sign turner on it. There it is. See, they've got red, and green, and blue,
Yellow.
purple, yellow, whatever, cayenne, and orange. I'll just turn the damn thing on and see what we get.
How come you gotta go under there?
Because you gotta get down here next to this hole. Haley, Don,
Did it come on?
did it come on? Did the sign come on? Nope. God dang it. Yep. Okay, all right.
It's actually lit.
What color is it?
That's red.
Okay,
That's what I said, you got it right.
just turned it on.
That's all we have for right
That's
now,
it.
unless you got questions, concerns.
No questions at this time.
All right,
All right. Sounds good. Thank you.
thank you, appreciate it.
All right, next up is our public comment session of this meeting, and the Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Persons speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mike Lynch, and I reside at 21730 Road S. In the Colorado Revised Statutes Title 30, which covers county government, Article 28, Section 103, covering County Planning Commission, subsection 1 begins with, except as otherwise provided in this subsection 1, the Board of County Commissioners of any county within the state is authorized to appoint a commission of not less than 3 and not more than 9 members to be known as the County Planning Commission. In our county, we have a planning commission with 5 regular members. In subsection 3, it states in part, the Board of County Commissioners may appoint associate members of such commission, each of whom shall be a resident of the county, and in the event any regular member is temporarily unable to act, and it gives examples of which reasons might pertain, his place may be taken during such temporary disability by an associate member designated for that purpose. Our county has 1 associate member. The language of this statute seems pretty clear to me. In our county with 5 regular planning commissioners and 1 associate, when one of the regular commissioners is unable to act in his capacity on the board, then an associate member may take his place. In other words, when there are less than 5 regular members available to sit and act on the board, the associate member may take one of the empty seats. Last year on March 15th, I sent an email to our county commissioners, Ian McLaren and Mr. Haley, pointing out that during the planning and zoning meeting the previous evening, there were 6 commissioners sitting on the board. I suggested this seems to be violating CRS 30-28-103. Mr. McLaren responded to my email but did not indicate whether he was in agreement. Nothing has changed since then. The most recent violation was on December 12, 2024, when all 6 P&Z commissioners attended. If all 6 P&Z commissioners act as regular commissioners sitting on the board at the same time, it actually creates some problems with adhering to Robert's Rules of Order. First, what is a quorum for any legal meeting? The quorum for a 5-member board is 3 members. That is a majority of the board. When all 6 commissioners are acting as regular members, then a majority is not 3 members, it is 4. If a quorum of a 6-member board is 4 members, then the Planning and Zoning Commission held an illegal meeting on January 9th of this year where only 3 planning commissioners were in attendance. Second, when all 6 commissioners are in attendance and a majority vote carries any motion, how many commissioners makes a majority? Robert's Rules of Order says a majority of the voting members present and able to vote is what carries a motion. If the chairman of the Planning Commission announces he will not be voting at the meeting, that does not remove his ability to vote. He is able to vote, but chooses not to. Therefore, the number present and able to vote is 6. Therefore, the majority would require 4 votes. To clarify, if one commissioner recuses himself due to possible conflict of interest, that commissioner is present but not able to vote. Thank you, and I've got a copy for the minutes.
Thank you. Next.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name's Edward Anderson. I'd just like to throw a little of my thoughts out there. So I have real concerns about how this county is handling roadside vegetation management. In the past, we had an invasive weed manager who understood the value of pre-emergent herbicides before they became a problem. Now, I see 3 county employees, 2 holding signs, 1 running a backhoe, with a $30,000 mulcher. Clearing the roadsides, how is this cost effective? 1 piece of barbed wire could do damage to that $30,000 piece of equipment. On top of that, the county just hired a new weed manager, but instead of someone with a background in invasive species like my wife, they brought in someone from the marijuana industry. Growing cannabis and managing noxious weeds are 2 completely different things. This raises real questions. Are these decisions being made in the best interest of the county, or are they just about spending monies in ways that benefit certain people? So I have to ask, do we honestly care about this county, or are we more concerned about filling our pockets while watching it decay as you guys get paid? We're watering down the sheriff's office, eliminating jobs that manage the county, and we're going to water down services to protect from fire? Do the hydrants work? Are we going to be like California? Are we going to spend $30,000 to manage 1 mile of road? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make any sense. Are we really serving this county, or are you serving it for your pockets, for your construction business, for your veterinary business, or for you to go on Amazon to find PJs to call in sick for today? Like, what are we really doing for our county? Are we sitting back, just relaxing, chilling like a villain? Because we know some people were exiled from their other jobs, but we won't talk about that. But I really wish you guys would start giving a crap. You know what I mean? Like, use your brain. We got one. I have one. I know what you probably think of me, but I don't really care. But I mean, like, how is that cost effective? 2 guys with the sign, $30,000 mulcher, 1 piece of barbed wire, and it sucks it up. You got to order special parts from Germany or wherever. How's that cost effective? You had somebody with a brain who was managing the county and actually went to school. They didn't smoke their papers. They read them. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Next. All right, seeing no further public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this meeting, and we're going to go straight into unfinished business. Yesterday, we were presented at the workshop, Total Assessment Solution Corporation Oil and Gas Contract by the assessor. Mr. Anderson, would you take this on?
Yes, Commissioner. This is something we do every year. Total Assessment Solutions completes our evaluations for oil and gas, and the total cost for this contract is $29,000. And I believe the assessor presented this last week.
Or last week, I'm sorry. So yes, and this is something that we do every year so that we can get the oil and gas through somebody that actually has the credentials to do that. So any questions? Okay.
No. Go ahead, Gerald.
I move to approve this agreement with Total Assessment Solutions Corporation for the oil and gas contract for January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025 with Montezuma County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the contract between the Total Assessment Solutions Corporation, TASCO, and Montezuma County for the oil and gas contract for the assessments for the assessor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next also, Travis, you'll take the next one, the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Impact Assistant Grant?
Yes, Commissioners, this indicates an assistance grant, but it's more of a reimbursement from the Department of Parks and Wildlife on property that they own for agricultural purposes. So this is just a reimbursement to the assessor's office.
Okay. And again, I just want to make one point on this because, you know, I have a pretty, going to be pretty adamant this year. I mean, look at the acreage that is assessed there, almost 1,500 acres, and there's only $2,200 to the county. It's dismal. It's extremely low. And we need to have people start paying their fair share, whether it's state, federal. But anyway, it's in front of you. It's almost 1,500 acres for $2,244. But I guess we're getting something. All right, Commissioner.
I move to approve this Colorado Parks and Wildlife Impact Assistant Grant application in the amount of $2,244.20.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Colorado Parks and Wildlife Impact Assistance Grant application in the amount of $2,244.20. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving right along. Yesterday in our workshop, we had a presentation from Region 9, Laura Lewis Marchino. She did go over this letter of support for the Southwest Enterprise Zone designation. And then she also had a presentation. If you didn't see it, you can find it at our workshop yesterday as far as livable wages in this region. Pretty interesting. That information is all there, can be found on their website too, if you guys are interested. So with that, gentlemen, we have a letter of support.
I move to sign this letter of support for the Southwest Enterprise Zone designation through the Colorado Economic Development Commission in Montezuma County.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept this letter of support for the Southwest Enterprise Zone designation. Is there any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and then next we have a letter of interest submitted. This comes from Mr. Hill. We did put this out and advertise for a period of 7 days to be consistent with all of our advertising for the other boards that we appoint. We still only have one letter of interest. So at this point in time, gentlemen, this gentleman is serving. So what's your pleasure?
I move to approve this appointment of Lee Hill to the Sullivan Cemetery Board for how many, what is it, 3-year term?
This would be a 6-year term.
For a 6-year term.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept Lee Hill and appoint him to the Sylvan Cemetery Board for the next 6 years. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. And lastly, Mr. Spratland, I see you're sticking around. Do you want to come up and talk about this one? This is a grant submitted by the Office of Emergency Management. It's a very small amount of money with no match, but I will let you give the specifics.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
It is morning, right?
It is.
Mixed that up yesterday. Yeah, this is just basically the Southwest Health System community support. They have fund that they give out to people. I will be asking them for $500, and it's no match. Pretty simple. I'm going to use that funding for the community emergency response team, equipment, or training, whatever we need. We're planning on having another session in the fall, bring in more members. We have, like you said yesterday, we have 21 members right now, and probably a good 12, plus or minus, that are going to every single training, and some are going to more trainings in between the monthly trainings. So we've got a pretty good team going on right now. So this is just a kind of an addition to the program and keep us running and get our equipment. So no match. I think it just comes right on my ops budget. We just stick it in there. So,
I think
okay.
just to elaborate a little bit more so the general public understands it, knows, I know that we understand it, but this is the CERT program, which you stated, but this helps them to identify their go bags to help them get them put together so that in the event of an emergency or disaster, we actually have people that are helped and trained to execute the plans that we have in place with Mr. Spratland. So I think it's bigger than what most people think, although we hope they never get utilized.
Right. They're an asset to everything. They know how to work in an emergency ops center. They're working with the fire department. They have medical training, sandbagging if we need it, during floods, et cetera. So very handy, good volunteer group. So.
Okay.
I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form to Southwest Health System Community Support 2025 program in the amount of $500 with no match.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form submitted by the Office of Emergency Management to the Southwest Health System Community Support 2025 in the amount of $500 without any match. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, moving right along. Mr. Tarnowski, we're into reports.
Good morning, Commissioners. One of the highlights of my week last week was participating in that panel discussion with current law students about opportunities for lawyers in Colorado outside of the metro area. I was the only representative from our part of the state. We had a couple different lawyers, one up in the northeast part of the state, a couple from the mountain counties, and then I talked about kind of what it's like to be a lawyer down here. So I think that's something that probably isn't on the mind of a lot of law students. So I think it was a valuable exercise and hopefully raised the profile of our part of the state here in our county in particular. We did have a couple child protection cases on the docket last week. I've got some trials that are set for child protection issues in early March that I've been preparing for and will need to continue to prepare for. I've got a couple potential hearings in child support cases tomorrow that I'm keeping an eye on to see if I need to participate in those. There haven't really been any substantive updates on any of our civil cases that we've got going on. I haven't heard anything further about the sheriff's sale for the Ironwood property that's set for next Thursday. So I'm assuming everything's still on track to go to the sheriff's sale. I think if there were signs that it maybe wouldn't be heading in that direction, I think someone would have told me about it. But that's all kind of tracking. We've got a bunch of stuff kind of pending with the judges on all different issues, so we're still waiting to get responses, orders on all those. And then another thing I've been working on is been working with Don Haley in the planning department on looking at how other counties, what their code looks like as far as how they deal with variances. And I think we're on the right track, basically, from what I've looked over, from what Don said. So I'm interested to see what the Planning and Zoning Commission comes up with. And I'll continue to participate in that process.
All right. Thank you. Any questions for Stephen?
No.
Okay. Mr. Anderson?
Commissioners, last week was a pretty busy week. We met with the sheriff and his staff. Finance is going to undertake their finances and the invoices and receipts, and we're basically just going to oversee that to make sure a smooth transition and adequate oversight of the finances there. Attended a meeting regarding Space Command with Senator Hickenlooper and their potential of wanting to move that to Alabama. We were looking for some support, particularly back in D.C. Commissioner Lindsay, myself, and Mr. Haley, and I believe James Dietrich attended a meeting on Thursday regarding unfunded mandates. DOLA wanted us to apply for a grant. Part of that grant was a 25% match. And again, if it's unfunded mandate and we don't have the money to fund it, I believe that, and we can get with Stephen, but statute says it's optional. So we don't have the money to keep presenting funds to unfunded mandates. Attended a TPR meeting with Commissioner Candelaria last week. I'll be appointed as a subcommittee to the M.M.O.F. And we'll be setting up a Region 9 board-to-board meeting with all the commissioners probably sometime in late May or early June. And then attended CCI bill updates.
All right, thank you. Kim or Diana? Nothing? Nothing?
Going good.
All right. Okay, very good. Commissioners' reports, Mr. Lindsay.
Yes, like Travis alluded to, that we sat in on that DOLA meeting, and we told them we weren't going to fund the 25% match. And there was kind of a deer in the headlight look from those people, but you can't give what you don't have. So other than that, went to city council last week, and they said I think it was a meeting record of 14 minutes. So there wasn't much going on. And that's about all I have to say.
All right, thank you. Commissioner Copenhaver.
Last week, I attended the NVI meeting in Tuesday afternoon, all afternoon. Selected a new board member to replace Danny Wilkin, who had resigned from the board. We actually had 4 applicants for that position, which surprised everybody, I think. Anyway, they were all good applicants. I mean, just all shareholders that were really interested in the company. So I think that that'll be a real help. After that, Wednesday afternoon, had a meeting, Southwest Water Conservation Board in Durango, Wednesday afternoon and Thursday morning. A lot of talk about the new rules for the Division 7 water. Also on the Colorado River, progress in what the River Reclamation is proposing for the 5 different proposals. Where that'll end up, it's kind of, I'm sure it'll be some hybrid of several of those different proposals. So hopefully we can stick to where we got some control over how much they're letting out of Lake Powell, and it has to be at a certain elevation before they can let out any more than the minimum. So hopefully we can get that through so that there can be some more storage kept in Powell and not just down the river. But we'll see how that all works out. They have to make a decision sometime because those 2007 guidelines are expiring this next year, so it'll be over. We'll have to have some new rules there. But Wednesday night I also attended the Mankastown board meeting. Their meeting actually went pretty quick also, but it did last longer than 14 minutes or whatever the N.M.P.M said. They are about to finish up with their new marshal's office there and stuff, so it's a pretty nice looking building. haven't been inside it, but just looking at it from the outside, it looks like and they're getting close to being finished up with it, so it's looking good. I guess that's about all.
Okay. I attended with Travis Tuesday afternoon that discussion with Senator Hickenlooper about Space Command and the, the ability to keep it here in the state of Colorado. One of the biggest things about keeping it here is that it has reached its full operational capacity. It's functioning and running well. And the other thing that was really brought up and highlighted that compared to Alabama, the how do I want to say this? The technology or the people's capacity for the technology in the state of Colorado was much greater than it is in Alabama. So all 64 counties were invited to that meeting. It was led by CCI's executive director, Kelly Flanagan, and it was a pretty interesting conversation. So I do hope that it will stay in the state of Colorado. Thursday we went to a TPR meeting in Durango, which is Transportation and Planning region. Not anything extra special there other than the funding for CDOT is diminishing, which concerns us as far as our roads and how they intersect our roads over here. We had a meeting later on with a couple gentlemen from the Cortez Cemetery District regarding funding that they have and what they can and cannot do with it. Had a workshop with the Montezuma County Housing Authority later that afternoon, 2-hour meeting, basically just talking to the staff and letting them know what's going on in the future of what that board is doing. Friday we had it was right at a 2-hour meeting, hour and a half to 2-hour meeting, looking at all the bills that we'll be voting on Thursday and Friday of this week as we're up in Denver. And they just keep piling them on. There's just more and more and more. So again, our focus is just what's affecting the county specifically, and specifically to what are the fiscal notes with everything that they have coming out. And again, like I said, all 64 counties are pretty much on the same page as far as not funding anything that the state is not going to fund. We did have our workshop yesterday, which we've taken care of all of that business today. And then we also had a department head meeting yesterday with all of our elected officials and department heads here at the county. That was a relatively short meeting, an hour, but just trying to figure out a way to be more effective and efficient and basically do more with less, because it seems like that's what it's coming to. And that is all that I have, gentlemen.
That's all I have.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this February 17, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm sorry, 18th meeting.